Hello, Michael. It's Jody.
Hi, sorry about the phone tag.
That's okay.
I'm not calling you about the litigation directive. I'm calling about the other unpleasant one. The deferred prosecution agreement thing and SNC and so on. I wanted to pass on where the PM's at. Our intelligence from various sources is that the company is getting to a very serious point now. The board has asked consulting firms for options for the board for their next meeting, which could be selling out to somebody else, moving, various things.
Yeah.
So, and it seems to be real and not a bluff. So there's a lot of like another rising anxiety, as you can imagine, about signature firm and job loss and all that coming after the Oshawa thing and what's going on in Calgary and whatnot. So the PM wants to be able to say that he has tried everything he can, within a legitimate toolbox to try to head that off. So he's quite determined, quite firm, that he wants to know why the DPA route, which Parliament provided for, isn't being used. And I think he's going to find a way to get it done one way or another. So he's in that kind of mood, and I wanted you to be aware of that.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's going to call you directly. He might. And he's willing, I think he's thinking about getting somebody else to give him some advice. He doesn't want to do anything that's outside the box of what's legal or proper. But his understanding is, the DPA tool is there. And you have options that we've talked about before to ask for reasoning from the DPP, or even to take over the prosecution of he just wants to understand more at this point why the DPA route isn't being taken up in this route. So he's thinking about bringing in somebody like Bev McLaughlin to give him advice on this, or to give you advice to make, if you want to feel more comfortable that you're not doing anything that's inappropriate or outside the frame of...
I'm 100% competent. I'm doing nothing inappropriate.
Yeah. No, but would not be if you decided to use some of these tools under the law. Because I think he feels the government has to have done everything it can before we lose 9,000 jobs in a signature Canadian firm.
Right. So, I'm confident in where I'm at, and my views on SNC and the DPA haven't changed. This is a constitutional principle of prosecutorial independence that, Michael, I have to say, including this conversation, previous conversations that I've had with the Prime Minister and many other people around it, it's entirely inappropriate, and it is political interference. And the Prime Minister obviously can talk to whomever he wants, but what I am trying to do is to protect him. I can have a conversation with Beverly McLaughlin. I can call her right now. I'm just issuing the strongest warning I can possibly issue that decisions that are made by the independent prosecutor are their decisions. We gave her and them the tools, the additional tools. I made it very clear at the cabinet table and in other places that these tools are the discretion of the prosecutor, and everybody agreed to that. And there was no guarantee that there would be a DPA in this or any other case. So we were treading on dangerous ground here. So I'm going to issue my stern warning because I can't act in a manner, and the prosecution can't act in a manner that is not objective, that isn't independent. I can't act in a partisan way, and it can't be politically motivated. All of this screams of that. So I'm actually uncomfortable having this conversation, but I'm happy to talk to you. I can I'll call Beverly McLaughlin. I can't even imagine her feeling in any way, shape, or form comfortable with interfering with the independent prosecutor.
Okay, but I mean, I think that's where people are talking past each other. I mean, I think the view that he's formed, which I think I share, I'm not the lawyer in any of these conversations, and Elder and others, is it's not interference. The statute specifically has these other provisions in it that allow you to ask questions of the DPP. That's provided for. It's not interference. It's
But I would have to issue a directive. I would have to gazette this. The prosecutor, the director, whom I know and understand after having several conversations with her about another directive on HIV that I issued, she is a by-the-book person. If this is gazetted, this will be, and this is not, and I hear you on the jobs and wanting to save jobs. I mean, we all want to do that. This goes far beyond saving jobs. This is about the integrity of the Prime Minister and interference. There's no way that anybody would interpret this other than interference if I was to step in. It doesn't matter how I would look in doing that. I mean, I'd be a mockery. And that's not the problem. The bigger problem is what it would look like down the road for the government. It's not about jobs, and I know the jobs are important, so I don't want anybody to misinterpret that I don't care about those jobs. This is about the integrity of the government and recognizing that there is the ability to issue a directive under the Act. It is still, irrespective of the ability that I have to do that, one, it's never been done before, but two, this is going to look like nothing but political interference by the Prime Minister, by you, by everybody else that's been involved in this, politically pressuring me to do this.
Well,
I feel like I actually really feel uncomfortable having this conversation because it's wrong. And I hear, and the Prime Minister obviously can call me. Like I said to you, I will have I'm going to call Beverly McLaughlin and have a conversation about her with her.
Well, I mean, of course it hasn't been done before because Parliament only created the instrument barely a year ago. So
No. This instrument was, you mean the directive. The directive on a specific prosecution has never occurred, and this happened because Harper brought this law in, as you probably know, 10 years ago. The directive the DPA has never been used because it just entered the criminal code back in September. So I understand that this is the first case. The prosecutor sent me what's called a Section 13. You told me that you hadn't seen it before, but I read it and I've reread it, and the Prime Minister's office has a copy of it. She explains in it why she's not doing it in this case. I have to be, unless it's something outrageous, comfortable with the decision, recognizing it's the first one, likely, and obviously I'm confident, wasn't entered into lightly, made the decision not to enter into a DPA with respect to this case. And she explained why.